249 houses and destroyed 70,566 hectares of farmland, with 1.4 million people affected. Meanwhile, the Kogi State Commissioner for Environment, Victor Omofayi, has pleaded with the federal government and international organizations to come to the aid of the state in the face of the flood crisis. Jide, Kogi and some other states, they're in trouble, serious trouble. In another time, they would have declared a kind of emergency on this about the situation there.
Yes, you only need to see the pictures. Even the pictures will tell
the humanitarian crisis.
The story, a lot more for you, and you'll be wondering how did it happen? Like, look at even the current. Look at it.
Look at the roof. Look at the
houses submerged,
the level. Yes.
Up to a roof level.
Roof level.
Story buildings.
Look at cars. Look at cars.
So it's just terrible. I don't know how.
And these people would have lost their lives in this flood. Oh, yes. These ones that we're counting.
Yes, you
can't give good accounts.
When they said 500 dead, initially I said, this looks high. I now remember that a friend of mine from Jigawa State told me that more than 200 people died in Jigawa. Yes, he said more than 200. Yes, and unfortunately, at the time when this thing was killing people, the governor was not even in the country. That was why at the Maulud now it was reported that he was boot, he and his deputy. He was not even in the country. More than 200 people died. So I now ask myself, so if up to 200 people died in Jigawa alone,
look at the roof.
Why am I shocked that government that has a history of reducing
figures, and we are not good with statistics,
will tell us that these are the number of people dead? You see, in our country now, 31 out of 36 states are affected by this flooding. 31. We've never had it this bad. Honestly, we've
even
never
more
had
than
it this bad.
2012. That one that happened, that popular one that happened.
It wasn't this bad. At least at that time, we didn't have a situation in which in one state up to 200 people died. That's what happened in Jigawa. And NIMET still talked about the fact that we should expect more floods just about 48 hours ago. And I'm like, how do people survive this? They are yet to come out of this disaster, and we are being warned that we have not seen the last.
Because of the topography of places like Lokoja, it is very, very difficult.
Yes, you see communities that have rivers running through them.
Yeah.
And those rivers, you did not build dikes, you did not build embankments.
You don't dredge them.
Whenever there is a huge volume of rainfall, chances are that the river will overflow its banks and the water will spread onto the road shoulders.
This is exactly what happens.
That's what you are saying. If you are in Lokoja, for example, you see how houses are built close to the riverside.
Yes.
So all of those places are in trouble. And then, of course, this Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, that every year they open it. I don't know the nature of our relationship
without communicating with us.
There won't be communication. They will just open.
Prior to that time.
They will just open. At least if they communicate, we can relocate our people. We can prepare for what is to come.
This particular dam affected several states.
Yes, everywhere the River Benue passes through.
Oh.
You are in trouble. Everywhere. Unfortunately for Kogi, both the River Benue and River Niger pass through Kogi. River Niger too, we are opening some of the dams.
Yes,
in Niger, we are opening. So those ones, the water will flow into the River Niger and then affect states like Kebbi. River Niger passes through Kebbi. Anambra, yes. Delta, that's Delta State.
Yes.
You know, all those places where it passes through, River Niger passes through. Bayelsa has already closed schools. They said they are going to reopen schools in November.
Wow.
Yes, it's this thing, livestock gone. people's houses gone. People they look at, they say 146,734 hectares of farmland destroyed.
Including
89,348 homes damaged.
89,000 homes.
Yes, 89,000. It could even be more. And they are saying that 790,254 persons displaced. Even in Lokoja alone, do we know how many people have been displaced? You saw say that story from Taraba. People spent 15 million on their rice farms. This flood came, destroyed the farms. So where do they pick up the pieces of their
The 10,000 hectares Olam farm, understand, was overrun by flood. So already we're talking of the price of rice going up.
Billions.
Foodstuffs, price of, even there will be scarcity, like there will be scarcity of foodstuff. The ABC national chairman has already said it, that what government has in its reserve won't be able to cope with the demand. And then the issue of River Benue, I understand that we're supposed to build a kind of a buffer shock absorber dam that's 2.5 times that of the Lagdo Dam. Yes, there will be flooding, but at least if there can be measures here and there to make sure you tame the flooding. And then some of the dams built by government, they don't maintain some of these dams. So when you have this flooding, the dams, you're talking of Shiro, you're talking of Jeba, you're talking of Lagdo. What about the head dams here and there that are not being maintained by state governments? Those dams burst on their own and cause problems. Then people building on flood plains. You see, it is something that state government must be courageous about. Because you see, we are just postponing the evil day. A lot of people building on flood plains, building right inside canal. You see it in Lagos, you see it in Ogun, you see it in many places. In Bayelsa, on that East-West Road, you will see some houses right inside the swamps that have been submerged. Now, why would someone spend so much money to build a house in a place that you know you will hardly be able to live there? Go all over, even Delta State. You see people building right inside floodplains. Urbanization, yes, population is increasing, urbanization is increasing. But state governments too, there's a lot of corruption. So people just go, build anyhow. So even when you send town planning officials and they mark X, then they mark X on buildings and people come to see them and tip them. That's the end of the matter. Then when you talk about relocating people, you say people should move. It's not about leaving it to them to choose whether to go or not. Because you see some of the stories was that we were told to move, but we didn't know that the flood will come so the flood will come so quickly.
It would have entered into the engine.
Government should maybe use the military, civil defense police.
We're out of town. You can imagine.
To move people, first to move people away by force.
Not the main source of transport.
You know, climate change is also a big factor.
Very big one.
Or that one, whether we like it or not, there will be flooding.
Because
we are not addressing the causes of climate change.
Yes.
It's a global emergency. We are playing with this. We are just playing with fire. Because when we continue to hot the ozone layer, you see ice melting. It's going to ultimately lead to serious flooding. They had warned that this thing was coming.
The kind of strange phenomenon that you are talking about in Katsina.
Yes.
How will ice block?
Ice flakes came down in Katsina and destroyed the farmlands.
A very
hot part of our country. Ice flakes. Climate change will cause you to see some rare things that you did not expect. Unusual rainfall, unusual volume of rainfall, things that you are not expecting. Ordinarily, November to March is supposed to be dry season. But these days, you see rainfall deep into November. When
even heavy rainfall in February. You see heavy rainfall in February.
So these are the things. Deforestation is also a big cause of flooding. Why are people just cutting forests, cutting trees and all that?
Farmlands, converting farmlands now to housing estates.
Everywhere.
It's a big
converting
problem.
Farmlands to housing
now,
estates.
All of these things, just when I was discussing with our boss, the commissioner for the environment in Lagos, he said a lot of the states do not have this primary, secondary drainage channels.
Yes.
People wonder why Lagos will experience serious rainfall.
Yes, and
that will see flooding.
After 1 hour.
Then after 1 or 2 hours,
to go.
It's gone. It's because
Yes,
of those
system
drainage
1 to
channels.
7.
Yes, all across the state.
Yes.
The state
Cutting
is
across.
surrounded by
Yes.
huge drainage channels.
Yes.
But do you know what it took to achieve that, to expand
Yes,
the
from
canals?
the-
You know there was a
before.
time. Do you know
From
there was,
the-
you know there was a time?
From
No, but there was
the
a
one
time.
era.
Johnson administration.
Yes.
Since
Bobolaji
1974.
Johnson.
That they now built on it, consolidated on it, expanded it.
The biggest canals that I've seen in this country are in Lagos.
Yeah, very big.
Very big.
Very big.
You know? Now, if we had such canals in some of these flood-prone states,
Yeah, would have helped.
at least it will mitigate the level of the
Look at
disaster.
look at the one at Yanoworo that leads to the lagoon directly.
Yes, Odo Yalaro.
Anytime it comes,
Yes. That's why
to
we have...
just dump it.
Look at in Anambra now when Soludo came in and started trying to remove structures. Look at the opposition he faced.
Yes, sir.
And he told them that when flooding comes, you will appreciate
No,
what I'm
they should
trying
not
to do.
even, they should not listen.
Should not back down.
Once a governor is convinced that he's doing the right thing,
Honestly.
posterity will judge him. He should just do what he thinks is right and not listening to
That
this
is
thing.
one
That's
major
the thing.
problem in many cities around Nigeria.
And you know,
Urban renewal.
sometimes
Urban renewal.
When big people are involved,
so
the
much.
pressure that you face, even Obasanjo, as stubborn as he is, when he was discussing corruption, he said corruption is extremely difficult to fight. That when you want to fight corruption, you should be ready to fight your best friends. Because some of your best friends will be involved. You then ask yourself, what do I do about this situation? Do I risk the friendship? So these are the situations confronting us. But since this is a big problem and it's ongoing, I think that the federal government needs to sit with some of these states, especially Kogi, because I don't see how a state as poor as Kogi
Honestly, how they are going
can
to
survive this kind of
They
thing.
need the United Nations. They need the federal government. They need NEMA. They need everybody.
Even NEMA has been overstretched. The scale of the disaster is beyond the capacity of NEMA.
Let's quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more.
The Nigerian Army wishes to inform the general public and all interested qualified candidates of the immediate commencement of online registration for 84 regular recruits intake for trades, non-tradesmen and women into the Nigerian Army. Applicant must be single and Nigerian citizen by birth and must possess National Identity Card, National Identification Number or BVN. Applicant must be medically, physically and psychologically fit according to Nigerian Army standards. Applicant must be free of any criminal conviction by the court of law. Interested candidates are advised to log on to the any recruitment website https://recruitment.army.mil.ng to complete online registration from 10th October to 2nd December 2022. Selected candidates will participate in the state recruitment screening exercise scheduled for 2nd to 15th January 2023. On completion of the state recruitment screening exercise, all selected candidates will be transported to Nigerian Army Training Area Depot, Zaria. The application form for enlistment into the Nigerian Army is free. Join the Nigerian Army and contribute professionally to the defeat of all adversaries. Brigadier General Aminu Mustafa Garba, Directorate of Army Recruitment, Resettlement and Reserve, Enamsa.
Good afternoon, Oga. Now you be the landlord.
Yes, Nami.
Oga landlord, me go need one room for this your house, so.
Okay, sure you get work where you dey do.
Yes, I be nurse.
You don't go dey owe me be that now.
Now how much be your rent, safe?
Not just 90,000 naira. Wait, this guy, where you come from, Sef?
Oga, I come from Akamata.
Akamata, no talk am again. My spirit and Akamata people no dey ever join.
Oga, wetin happen now?
Come on for my compound. Na so baba thing na people sabi do for that Akamata. Come on for here.
Haba, Papa, wetin this innocent girl do you now? Now people like you, they spoil Nigeria, Papa.
I think you don't see am now. My people they talk say jollof rice wey dey for bottom pot today go dey top of cooler tomorrow. As I take need you now, so you self need me. Because now one mama we get wey dey Nigeria. Make we love ourselves because now only together we go fit make our country better for us and our children them. One heart plus one love equals better Nigeria. Now the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government, they bring in this message.
Thank you for staying with us. Nigerians are waiting with high hope for the final resolution of the prolonged strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU. The federal government said it will modify the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPPIS, to accommodate the peculiarities of the University Transparency Accountability Solution, UTAS. This was part of the discussions during the meeting between the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, and ASUU officials on Monday. Julie, please shed more light into this.
Yes, ASUU is right now in various institutions meeting. You know?
That's the timeline for the resolution now.
Yes, the congresses, they are having meetings. There they will decide what do we do. These are the scenarios that we are going to face. How should we respond? Because as I said earlier, it is not within the powers of the ASUU president to call off a strike. At the level of at the zonal level, at the level of the Congress,
Yes,
they are going to decide. That means every institution, every federal institution will have a meeting. They will have a meeting. For example, those of Federal University of Lokoja, their meeting was supposed to start at 5.
Okay.
So
Like now, ASUU and his people, they'll be somewhere holding their meeting.
Yes, they will have their meeting. So when they meet, they will now, it is the product of the meeting that they will take before the NEC of ASUU. The NEC will then decide. So from what I've been told, on Friday morning, ASUU will call a press conference where it will announce that is ending the strike conditionally. Conditionally, because it expects certain demands to be met.
Yeah.
But the way it is now, all of those demands are going to be met. They are going to be hoping that the federal government lives up to its promise. The federal government doesn't have a good record of living up to its promise.
By next year, we won't find ourselves.
That is a lot of our people who are looking at this issue emotionally. It is the way of the Nigerian to look at every issue based on emotions. They are not asking themselves why ASUU went on strike. ASUU went on strike because you signed a memorandum of action in December 2020 and refused to do anything afterwards. You refuse to honor even one of the demands that you agreed to meet. So now we've been told that, yes, the peculiarities of UTAS are the reasons why ASUU wanted UTAS in place of IPPIS. The university system is a peculiar environment. The university is a peculiar environment. Even some of the former VCs who are now in government, they told the government that, look, Professor Loye, they told them that, look, you cannot bring the university system under IPPIS because the university system thrives on sabbatical. People will go abroad, and even university lecturers from abroad too will come here and work as visiting lecturers. IPPIS does not recognize all of that. You are supposed to be seen as working in only one university. IPPIS will only capture you as a staff of one university. How people will come up with that kind of idea and not even try to be flexible is what I don't understand.
The research department.
We are in the world. Universities are centers of excellence, centers of research. And how do you research when it's only in one place that you just sit in? Just sit in your office? Is that how it's done?
Yeah.
Now, This is what her. If they don't do it, we will come for her. Because Nigerian officials shouldn't be making promises that they will willfully not honor. And at the end of the day, you plunge all of us into crisis. The woman has said, see, it will be expensive for us to run multiple payment platforms. I agree. Because as ASUU is asking for UTAS, non-academic staff to ask for their own.
Yeah, UPT,
yes,
something.
We don't need that. All you need to do is make the IPPIs flexible, accommodate the university peculiarities. Yeah. Talking about the allowances like allowances, development allowance, or what
even
it
research.
Are they going to touch their salary?
Is part of the. You see, what we don't know whether some of the things that the speaker will deliver his report or has delivered his report to the president. All we can hope for is that the president, desirous of wanting to see this thing end, will honor that agreement.
Because we were told that in the last 9 years that they've not increased their salaries.
That is,
their wages have not been renegotiated.
And to even say that lecturers have not been working, no work, no pay, is laughable. The only thing basically they've not been doing is lecturing. Because there are other activities. So I wonder the kind of people who are in charge of the educational system. The educational systems are different layers.
How did they choose a VC?
A VC. Thank you.
If they are not working.
That is it. So the only thing they've not been is actually is lecturing.
Yes,
it's lecturing. Have they not been sitting? Have they not been sitting on issues of promotions and things like that? There are those lecturers who have actually been on sabbatical, and then you say no work, no pay. It shows. You see, when we should...
Even other labor unions, when they go on strike, you pay them.
You pay them.
Why should
we should learn to put square pegs in square holes. Don't put people who don't have the knowledge of the educational system in charge of that critical sector, because that is the backbone of the nation. That's the real wealth we have. The IPPIS is flawed. A lot of workers complaining.
They even admitted. No,
yes.
Even government.
Yes.
When they faced the House of Reps, the government official himself admitted that IPPIS has integrity
issues. It's flawed. Government officials don't.
Because you are forcing it on.
Civil servants are not getting their salaries. The loans they collected
what
from
you get paid
cannot pay.
May not be what you will be paid tomorrow.
Yeah, that is it.
You never can
a lot
sure
of money
will come to you.
A lot of money belonging to civil servants is trapped in the IPPI system. Let them immediately release that money, because civil servants are pretending that it is, but that system is flawed.
It's not perfect. In fact, it's not good at all.
It's not good. They should.
A system that can permit an individual to loot, in the words of the EFCC.
Yes, workers were complaining. Civil servants were complaining that their salaries were being cut.
How can that?
That they were being short paid.
Subject to manipulation. Mine is that, okay, after ASUU might have agreed to call off the strike, implementation.
No, that's what I said, conditional call off. Because at the level of those congresses, the feelers, the ASUU members are saying, let's call off conditionally, which means that they can come back.
That is the interesting thing.
They can come back. So it will be suspension or strike, not call off.
Because look at the time frame for this administration, and look at the time the new administration will take. We assume office May 29 next year. By this time, we've gotten, would have been getting more of this agitation. We don't know the plan that this administration will put in place to ensure that most of these demands are met.
But if you look at, for example, we know that there are some demands that they can't fulfill immediately. Like the revitalization fund, they put 470 billion in the budget for 2023.
Okay.
So that is a good step in the right direction. Government proposed 150 billion, ASUU rejected it. So that government has moved to 470. It's already
federal universities.
It's even a victory for ASUU.
They'll give them.
It means that sometimes when you fight for something, if you are persistent, you get the glory. So from 150 billion, they've agreed to do 470.
470.
Which is victory for ASUU on one hand. Now, if the other, they was also promised them that don't worry, we'll pay your salaries. You understand? Government may pay the salary in like 3 tranches, 3 installments. That is understandable. They've done that in the past. They can't pay it at once. They can say, okay, we'll give you 2 months in arrears and all that. So these are promises. Now, when they are talking about conditional
calling off,
they want to see how government responds. Because when they call off, no one will say they have not obeyed the court.
The court, yes.
But the government also has an obligation to fulfill its own side of the bargain.
They can resume the strike again.
Yes.
Because government is a party already in court. You took ASUU to court. Now if ASUU decides to resume the strike, they will say you didn't fulfill your side of the bargain. So you can't just expect that.
It's a give and take thing. It's a give and take thing, in my view.
Yeah.
Government
and then they
has
should
to
withdraw those certificates given to those unions, that CONO and others, because it's against the law. It's against the law.
Oh, they will go to court over that. The court will decide. A lot of people have been calling me to say, CONO has come to stay.
It's illegal.
This and that.
It's illegal.
I don't.
Yes.
The
law is
like
there.
That, I don't argue.
Yeah, the law
say
is
what
there.
you like,
Yes.
because you've taken a position. But let us see when the matter goes to court. If the court says CONO has come to stay, fine. Okay. Let them continue to operate in the same system.
Thank you. And BQ, thank you for contribution. And that's our package today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. and join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Osubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
It's always a great morning on the TVC Breakfast Show.
Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
With the array of stories that matter and what's behind them.
As you say, the first blow indicates the direction of government.
Tell us what really is going on between your union and the federal government.
Once it's generated,
if you don't use it, it's waste. We are not even sure whether we have a strategy for security.
Are you saying that there was nothing wrong in that?
Was he the one driving the taxi?
Answer the question.
Reveal your morning with all you need to know.
Like the
yes, just mundane lyrics.
Yes.
How does that fit into your scheme of events or duties right now?
No chief of staff, no general has the right to call a governor to order. The governor has been elected by his people.
Start your day right, because this is the breakfast show that adds to your breakfast. TVC Breakfast, weekdays at 7 a.m. only on TVC News.
For this same country that generates 4,000 megawatts of power would not give us electricity in this country 24/7, but we can sell to other countries.
You would realize that from our life to our death is controlled by the government. I'll give you an example. You're not born until the government says that you're born. And that's why at birth they issue a birth certificate to you.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, where the black gold continues to flow and fuel Africa's largest economy, where the line between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Oil, gas, politics, development, and community issues all are highly valuable commodities in the Niger Delta. How do they combine, and how can they work together to spawn a new era in the Niger Delta? As he probes deep to analyze issues in the region from angles never before explored. Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Genuine business people desirous of success in today's environment ignore the taxman only at their own peril.
Under the oversight of this board, the FIRS will continue its transformation into a premier revenue collecting agency.
For up-to-date and accurate information on your obligations, duties and rights under the various tax laws in Nigeria, watch Tax Matters on TVC News Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and thanks for joining us. So this is TVC News at 6. We begin in the nation's capital, where President Muhammadu Buhari has sworn in Justice Ariwola Olukayode as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. Justice Ariwola took the judicial oath of office in a brief ceremony at the Council Chambers in Abuja before the commencement of the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Buhari. In attendance at the ceremony were the Vice President Yebi Osinbajo, ministers, other justices of the Supreme Court, and the governors of Oyo and Ondo states. Justice Ariwola was appointed a Justice of the Supreme Court on 22nd of November 2011 under the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. His appointment as Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria followed the resignation of the outgone CJN, Justice Tanko Mohammed, on health grounds.
As I said on the 27th of June, when I was sworn in acting capacity, I shall not let down Nigerians. Because with the support of my brother justices, like I can see all of them are here with me, as they were when I was sworn in acting capacity. With their support, we shall not fail Nigerians. We are computerizing already the Supreme Court and all other courts of records, so that the delay in filing cases will become a thing of the past.
One of our own is now the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Well, you know, it's been quite a while when this type of opportunity has knocked on our door. So we counted ourselves quite lucky, and we look forward to supporting him to contribute to the development of the judiciary in Nigeria.